you want to just do this, take the least amount of time? I mean, the reason we're here is because of Coach Tarkanian's announcement yesterday. I talked to Carolyn Sparks this morning. She correctly points out that if anybody is going to accept that rescission of the resignation, it would have to be you. The regents can't do it. It's a presidential appointment. What's your reaction?
Well, I'll tell you our position, Bill, and it's the position that we've had all along, and it's a position that will not change. Coach Tarkanian submitted a legally binding resignation to the university. He submitted it in good faith. The university accepted that resignation in good faith, and the matter is closed. We intend to live up to our commitment, and that's the end of this. That's the end of it. The matter's closed on the subject.
If you chose to accept his rescinding the resignation, I mean, there would be a vehicle for keeping him on as coach if you wanted to.
The university's position has not changed, and it will not change, and that is Jerry Tarkanian did submit a legally binding resignation. The university accepted it, and there won't be any change from that.
Do you have any desire to rehire him?
There won't be any change from the university's original position. That was the university's position. It was back in June. It's the university's position today. It'll be the university's position in the future.
I know I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. I know there are a lot of people out there who wonder, why wouldn't you want to?
Well, I think all this was done in good faith, and it was done for a reason. It was done for a reason that accommodated the desires of a lot of people, including Coach Tarkanian, and those things were done in a way that granted those wishes, to live and commitments were lived up to, and that's just the position of the university, and it's not going to change.
I know that some people in Tarkanian's camp have suggested that the resignation might not be valid because of this civility clause, I think is the
well, you'd have to talk to the university's attorneys on that. I don't deal with the legal piece of it. I'm not an attorney, and I don't fool with those things, but we consider the resignation as legally binding, and we have accepted it.
Do you think the university's done anything uncivil?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I hear about charges against the university, and I always read it in the media. I always see it on television, and yet no one brings me anything. When I ask, well, be specific, what's happened or whatever, and because sometimes it's the first I've heard about it's in the media. It never comes forward. It never comes forward. The university has behaved itself properly. Every decision that we've made in this situation, dating back to June, every decision the university's made, we've made on what we thought was the best interest of the institution. It is an issue on this campus with this faculty as an academics first issue, and all decisions have been based on what's in the best interest of the university. I am confident that this administration has acted properly, and I don't, the charges against the university not being civil or some way being unethical, it's absolutely ridiculous. And what it is simply an effort to cover up the problems we face. It's another effort to attack people who've worked very hard at this university.
Can you itemize any of the reasons why you wouldn't want to have Jerry Tarkanian?
No, I can't itemize anything, and I'm not going to get into that discussion. The university accepted the resignation, and I'm just not going to discuss it beyond that. In fact, let me say this: I have never discussed Coach Tarkanian's resignation. Never. I've never discussed it publicly, and I've never discussed it privately with anyone outside of Coach Tarkanian and the impacted officials at the university, and I'm just not going to discuss it.
Tarkanian says that the administration keeps bringing up these NC2A violations and stuff like that, but he insists that there's no major violations, hence nothing's really happened.
Well,
what's your opinion on that?
let's face facts on this issue. And I've said this before, but let's face the facts on this issue. It wasn't the university, it wasn't the administration that wrote that devastating Newsday article about Lloyd Daniels suggesting numerous NCAA violations at UNLV. It was not the administration that brought 40 NCAA allegations upon us. And it was certainly not the university that put 3 basketball players in a hot tub with a convicted sports fixer. And let me tell you something else for the record. And it was not the university that made these sorry facts public. Now, the idea that nothing ever happened is, you know, it's another way to divert attention from the mess that we've had here that others have had to come in and clean up, and this continuous attack upon the university is vicious, it's wrong, it's dishonest, it's just plain unfair. And that's exactly what's happened. No matter what the problem has been, it just doesn't matter. You take any single problem that's arisen, doesn't even matter if it broke in another paper like the LA Times, the first response is to attack the information. It's never to look at what the problem is. It's never to say, hey, have we got a problem? Let's work it out. Or somebody's accused us of something that's not true. Let's get to the bottom of it. The first question is, who told? Who told on us? And I tell you, that's wearing thin with me. Frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. I think that this institution has kept quiet. We have turned the other cheek. We've done everything we can to keep negative publicity away from the basketball program and the university. But to always accuse the administration of no matter what the problem is absolutely a smokescreen, and I think the public sees right through it.
Tark brought up a thing yesterday at this rally.
That's correct.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct. About 2 years ago, I didn't know that Tarkanian was behind it. That's interesting because I did not know that Tarkanian was behind it. But about 2 years ago, I did see a proposal to spend something like $75,000 or $100,000 to hire a PR firm to make the basketball program look good. Now, I tell you, not a single person that saw that proposal outside the basketball program thought that was a good way to spend the university's money. The feeling was that that's not the way you make programs look good. That I would dare say that there may be, but I would be surprised if you could find another basketball program in the nation that took $75,000 or $100,000 of university money and said, let's do this to make us look good. And yes, it was turned down. It was a very good idea, actually, but not a good use of very scarce.
Just to be clear for the public.
Just to be clear for the public, I'm going to make my public statement again, and it's the only discussion, the only thing that I will say about Coach Tarkanian's resignation. I want to emphasize again, I have never discussed it. Coach Tarkanian submitted a legally binding resignation to the university, and the university accepted it, and that matter's closed. And Bill, I just don't feel at liberty to discuss any more about the resignation.
Okay. That's really
Okay, guys?
Yeah, let me just do
Okay.
real quick 2 shot.
I'm sorry we didn't connect earlier, but you